Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the September 12th edition of the Planning Board meeting, 2023. I'd like to start the meeting with a pledge, please. Allegiance to the flag of the United States, to the republic for which it stands, indivisible. Just a few announcements. Just note the emergency exits to your left and right. Restrooms are at the back to your left. Please be sure that you've signed the attendance sheet, even if you were planning on presenting. There are business cards at the back table in case you need some contact information, email address, and phone numbers for the planning department, in case there are any questions arise. Also on the back table, there are a copy of resolutions that we're going to be reading tonight, along with the agenda. Please silence your cell phones and take all conversations, if you need to, out in the hallway and close the doors behind you. So with that, we have two items on the agenda this evening, the Hearn Pole Barn and the Struble in-ground pool applications. We had two others on the agenda, but they've both been removed until September 26th at a minimum. We don't have any meeting minutes for consideration this evening. They're done, but Lisa felt we didn't have enough time to review them, so we'll do that next time. We've received a couple items of correspondence, one from Martin Lieber regarding the Hearn Pole Barn and another from Chad Flansburgh regarding Collier Park. Board meetings, updates, one from the town board, so Kim, you're up.
So your next meeting will be Tuesday, September 26th, starting with a public hearing for the Driscoll site plan at 1420 Strong Road. Applicant is requesting approval to create a single-family residence on lot number 1 of the O'Neill subdivision. And then we have the two carryovers that were not on tonight's agenda, starting with Collier Park at 606 County Road 9. That's a preliminary subdivision application. Applicant is requesting approval to subdivide 12.925 acres into 6 individual lots with an existing house on one of the lots. And then Mobile Graphics at 7120 Lane Road, that's a site plan application. Applicant is requesting approval to demolish a pre-existing barn and construct a 7,400 square foot building. And then any carryovers from tonight.
Questions for Kim? Great, thank you, Kim. So our first item on the agenda is one we've seen before, the Hearn Pole Barn. This had a public hearing. It's been closed. We have received correspondence over the last, since we last saw the project before us. So I hope you've had a chance to read those letters. Someone here for that application? Step right up. Good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Just your name for the record and address.
It's Tim Hearn. And
Susan Hearn.
it's 218 Hannibrook Trail.
Thank you. So the last time you were here, we did discuss a variety of things, and we've received correspondence regarding both the size of the barn and landscaping. I believe the request was to consider putting more landscaping around the building and look at the size of the structure as well, which I know you've done both of. So if you could kind of give us an update as to the changes that were made and how you've addressed comments that you've seen.
Sure. Yeah, we had some
Make
comments.
sure you step closer to the
Oh, this one.
microphone.
Okay, let's look at that one. We had some comments from neighbors that we took seriously and decided to significantly reduce the size of the barn. That was one of their concerns, was the size of the barn related to our lot size. So originally it was going to be 46 by 72. We are proposing to change that to 42 by 50. So it's a pretty significant reduction in the size of the barn. The other concern was just the look of the barn. I think there never was a picture of what the barn looked like. So they were just concerned that it was going to be an industrial style kind of look to the barn. That is a picture of the style of the barn, it's kind of hard to see. But, you know, we think that's really not that displeasing aesthetically. That looks good. And then I think the third concern was, you know, can we conceal it with some landscaping, which we provided a landscaping plan to do that as well. So we don't feel that it does not look good, but we are willing to additionally put some landscaping to conceal the barn itself.
Could you comment on what you would actually see for the architecture of the building versus the features, some of the features that were shown in that example?
Yeah, it's
Kyle?
going to be stone, kind of on the bottom. It's kind of hard to see, but the bottom is going to be stone. We do not plan to have the cupola, I think it's called, at the top of the roof. Probably don't plan to have that overhang above the windows. But other than that, it should look pretty similar. We will have, how many garage doors will we have? Two garage doors.
And the porch.
And a porch area as well. And then plan on putting some landscaping around the actual barn itself.
With a darker color.
To make it look nice with a darker color of the barn.
What, when you say darker color, you're talking about the siding? It'd be darker than that?
Yeah, like a charcoal type color.
Okay. Suzie, could you put the landscaping plan up, please? There you go. All right. So I guess I'll open it up to the board if you have any questions or comments. You've seen the architecture in the previous picture. This is the general layout. I understand it that this is the garage door here and the one on the front of the building as well, correct?
Correct,
Yes.
yep.
And then there's a regular exterior door
Yeah.
at both of these locations, and that's like a little roof for an overhang?
Porch, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so with that, Joe, any questions?
No, just a comment that I appreciate your response to the neighbors' concerns. It seems you've reduced the size of the barn by a third, almost.
Yes, I think more than a third, yeah.
I think that's real neighborly. I think it looks real nice.
Thank you.
Al?
Yeah, I would agree with Joe's comments. I think the reduction of footprint by, again, almost 3%. The landscaping and working on some of the aesthetics of the building, I think you've done a very good job in responding to some of the voice of concerns that were shared with us, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Ernie?
Are the overhead doors going to be the size that are shown in that photograph?
Just one of them will be, the other one will be a 10 by 10,
No, okay, there it is again.
but they'll be similar
So
style.
is,
That one,
to go with that barn, with that comment, the height of the barn, is it,
that's 16 feet,
this is,
close. Ours
that-
is 18, that's 16.
that's 16 feet high?
Yeah.
And yours will be 18 feet?
Yes.
Wow,
That one's bigger, that
That's-
one's 40 by 60.
okay. And the height of the barn in general, would that peak be the same on your barn as this one here is shown, scale-wise?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. All right, anything else, Ernie?
I guess you won't be driving tractors in there, I guess.
No.
That's why they
No.
had that size. No, that's all I have,
Okay,
thanks.
Scott?
I don't think I have anything more than the comments that have already been mentioned. I think it was really good for you to listen to your neighbors, really good to make the efforts that you've made. I think that's a good move. And I just want to be sure, it was like 46 by 76 originally? It was
By 72 originally,
by 72?
yeah,
And now we're at 42 by 50? Is that-
correct. Yep.
I don't have any further comments.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Scott. I'll echo the appreciation that the rest of the board has given regarding how you're scaled back the project and the landscaping especially. I think that made a good, reasonable effort to adapt to the comments that you got from your neighbors. I mean, they were pretty universal from all of them, but I think I'm fine with what, you've modified the project to, so. Buzz, any comments?
Yeah, thanks, Joe. We issued a letter back in August 3rd, that responded basically to your responses, right? So it looks like a number of our comments have been addressed. I do have a couple of questions for you. So, for example, the drawing that you did present to the planning board that was provided by, I think it was Vendy Excavating, which showed some proposed grading. And that had a depiction of the building being, like what you said, 46 by 72.
Correct,
I think
yeah.
what the planning board is going to need to, if they are apt to approve this, is they're going to need that drawing and showing the new size of the building, right? The 42 by 50, as opposed to the 72 feet long. And it, generally, we like to see those be done by the professional engineer or a licensed land surveyor. But I think, given the nature of the project, you've had your contractor put together what appears to be a reasonable drawing. And as far as the drainage goes, right, we're satisfied with what they've shown on their drawing. It depicts grading that would generally direct surface water in the same direction as the current conditions, right? So a swale would direct water around the west side or the rear of the barn and ultimately convey flow to the southeast toward the road. And this this follows the same general path as what current conditions are depicted to be. So we're okay with that, and I would suspect that your updated drawing would kind of reflect the same drainage pattern.
Yes, yep.
So I think you also mentioned at one point that you were not going to have a driveway access the barn, but you are proposing 2 garage doors, and I just wanted to confirm, so there are no plans to do a driveway up to the barn or up to the curb at all? No? Okay. All right. Yeah, we're all set. They've addressed our comments as noted in our August 3rd, 2023 letter. So I think the only thing that we would want to see is an updated site plan that shows the actual proposed size.
So that would be a condition prior to chairman's signature to present that with the final.
Yeah, with the landscaping plan, right? So it seems like you're going to have 2 different sheets that if they get approval, that would get signed, right? One being the landscape plan, and then one also being the site plan that shows the grading.
Okay.
So, yeah, those would need to be addressed. We'd have to have that prior to you signing the.
Okay, so I just wanted
Need
to
to-
formalize it in the,
We can do that.
or is that something that's in your comments?
That's not in my comments.
Okay,
Because at the time of the August 3rd letter, I don't think we had the indication from the applicant that they were reducing the size of the barn.
so,
Yeah, we had figured the reduction wouldn't be as big of a deal as if we were making it bigger, right? So, but you're correct, we decided that after this was put together. I think practically speaking, nothing's gonna change other than the barn size is gonna be smaller.
so I would suggest we just make a number 5 under that,
Yep.
just saying, I just shorthanded it, updated survey plan and landscape plan,
I would say an updated site plan
site plan, okay?
depicting
Wes is gonna
the
write this
40,
out.
let's see, the 46 by, I'm sorry, the 42 by 50
50, yeah.
barn, and associated grading. Be provided, for signature
Okay,
when you get.
yeah, perfect. Anything else that we need to update this draft resolution? Let's do it, Wes? Yeah, okay. All right. If there's no objection, we do have a draft resolution prepared that I'm going to read for consideration by the board, and we will update it with that item 5 that we just discussed. So this resolution is for the Hearn Pole Barn, 218 Hidden Brook Trail, application 22 SP 2023. Whereas the planning board made the following findings of fact, and there are 8 of them. Now therefore be it resolved that the application of Timothy Hearn, site plan entitled Hearn Pole Barn, received by the planning board May 24th, 2023, with last revised September 6, 2023, planning board application 22 SP 2023 be approved with the following conditions. Conditions to be addressed prior to the chairman's signature on the plan. Item 1 is standard. Item 2, that the comments in the letter dated June 28th from the code enforcement officer be addressed. Item 3, that the comments in a letter dated August 3rd, 2023 from Labella Associates be addressed. Item 4, that any exterior lighting be code compliant and approved by the code enforcement officer. And unless we have discussed it before, that's full cutoff, dark sky compliant lighting. So not the big sodium lights that you see on some of these people's barns, but
Yep.
if you have any question about it, certainly talk to the planning department.
Yep.
And number 5, Russ, you want to read that?
An updated site plan be provided depicting the 42 by 50-foot barn and associated grading to the satisfaction of the town engineer.
Okay, and the landscape plan as you have it is acceptable
Yeah.
that they provided? Okay. Ongoing conditions, item 1 is standard. Item 2, landscaping plan intended to screen the new building from the adjacent roadway be perpetually maintained as an effective screen between the building and Heddon Brook Trail, and that if any of the aforementioned landscaping fails to provide as an effective screen due to death or disease of any one or number of particular trees, shrubs, or bushes, vegetation be replaced with the same or equivalent trees, shrubs, or bushes in a timely manner so as to provide the perpetual screening desired by the planning board. Number 3, that the building permit be obtained for the pole barn prior to construction, and be it further resolved that the planning board secretary distribute the planning board's approval letter. So with those updates, do I hear a motion for approval?
I'll move.
Al moves.
Second.
Ernie seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried 5-0. So,
Okay,
all set.
great, thank you.
The second item on the agenda this evening is a public hearing, and it's for the Struble, and apologies if I pronounced that incorrectly, in-ground pool. It's zoned in a limited development district. The applicant's requesting approval to install an 18-foot by 38-foot in-ground gunite swimming pool with a poured concrete coping, paver, patio, and fencing. And the address is at 8053 Barony Woods. Owner Kyle Struble. Good evening.
Hi. You're saying Struble, correct?
Oh, good. Thank you.
I'm the other half. I'm Megan Struble.
Megan, thank you. Tell us about your project.
We'd like to put a gunite pool in the backyard, a paver patio surrounding all 4 sides of the pool, with a fence enclosing just that pool area, and then some additional pavers outside of the fence area.
So I know that you sent in some photos of
Yes.
the land, of the area around your yard, and looks like examples of the pool fencing that you're planning.
Yes. So that's the existing backyard and the existing fence of the entire backyard, but there would be an additional black aluminum around the pool itself.
So no changes to the yard fencing or anything else?
No.
You're putting stuff inside of that
Yes.
fence line?
Yes.
Okay. And this is front of the house, I assume?
That's the back of the house, yeah.
Yes.
Looking from the backyard toward that's the back of the
Wow,
house.
okay.
Yeah, I think the back's actually more attractive than the front.
I was gonna say, you guys did a nice job with the back of the house. I guess if you spend most of your time there, you get to look at it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Could you go to the other pictures there, Susie, please? So the ones with the backyard. There, yeah, okay. So the pool is going to go around in this corner of the house, is that true?
Yeah, it's kind of, see where the bay window is?
This one here?
Yep.
Okay,
That's kind of where the pool area will start. There'll be some pavers.
right in there, okay.
So for like a little seating area, and then it
Oh.
will come out.
In this, at the lower left, I'm showing here, so
Yeah.
that
Yep,
area.
it'll start at that window and then go toward the former garden and play structure area.
Okay, I just wanted to get that for visual
Yeah.
orientation.
Yeah.
And then Susie, could you go to the plan that you had up? There you go. Yep, thanks. So that bay window, is that this right here?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then fencing, the white fencing would be
It's
the corner of the house here, is that right?
it's black aluminum.
Okay,
Yeah, so it will come out, it will attach the house where that bay window is and come around 3, and the fourth side will be partially fenced and partially the house
Oh,
enclosing
right.
it.
okay, got it. Okay, it's a public hearing, but I will open up to the board first with questions or comments. Ernie?
No, I don't. It's pretty straightforward.
Okay, Pat?
I guess the only question I would have is, does your backyard have enough slope for the drainage to fall away from the pool area? and not
Yeah,
have any ponding?
our pool and hardscape company have come out with their laser measurements and everything to take measurement. It slopes gently,
Away.
but it's a pretty flat area, but it does slope gently away from the house.
All I have.
Okay. Al?
No questions. Looks like it'll be a nice addition to your property.
Thank you.
Joe?
Same here, no questions, looks nice.
Okay. Wes, I know we've talked a little bit about it, drainage and all that, so I know you have a few questions.
Yeah, just two what seem to be very minor questions in our letter that we got out today. So pool drainage, for example, where would if you were cleaning out your pool and discharging some water, where would you anticipate that would head?
We would drain it into the backyard.
Okay.
If it was going to be a large amount, we would neutralize the water first, neutralize the chemicals, and then drain it slowly over a number of several days.
Okay. So my understanding is there's also a drainage easement that was depicted on one of the drawings that you sent in that
Yes.
looks like it's beyond
It's
the
beyond the
existing
fence. Yeah, so outside the existing fence
Yeah.
drops off
Right.
pretty sharply.
Yeah.
And that is on that very sharp
Okay.
drop off.
All right. And so maybe discharging it to the backyard, that might be the best idea versus like if you were to actually take a long hose and discharge it over that bank,
Yeah,
right? And which might cause some erosion.
Right.
And that might be a concern, especially
Right.
if it's headed to the drainage easement. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, is the pool an 8-foot standard, like an 8-foot deep end pool?
the deep end's gonna be 7.5.
7.5, okay.
Yeah.
So that depth, there's a drain at the bottom of the deep part? Do you have enough gentle slope in your yard to allow that to exit within that upper yard?
Yeah, the drainage easement's kind of on one side of the property, and there's actually more open space and yard space on the other side. So I think if we directed it more toward that side, we would have enough
Okay.
space. I mean, it might take some time, certainly, so that it, doesn't
Yeah.
empty too fast, but
All right. And then,
fingers crossed that we don't have to do that.
yeah. Will there be any existing mature trees that would be removed either as part of, it looks like your backyard is very open.
Yes.
In order for the workers to get there and to construct the pool, is there any?
No,
Trees that would be
there are a
removed?
couple of trees in the front kind of side yard,
Yeah.
but they're able to go around them, so.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, the nature of my comments was just, looking at the steep slope. It doesn't look like there's any trees that would be removed in proximity of where that steep slope is, and
No.
so that's helpful. The photographs that you submitted were very helpful for me. I know initially when I was looking at the site, I could see a little bit of the distinction on an aerial photography of what seemed to be flat, but I wasn't quite
Yeah.
sure, and then where it started to drop off significantly. So,
Well, everything was kind of brown in that photo too, so it makes it hard to tell what's what.
oh, thanks for the photographs. That was
No
helpful.
problem.
I don't have anything further.
Okay. This is a public hearing. If there's anyone in here that cares to comment? Shaking your
Only
head.
8 people on my street, I don't see any of
Yeah.
them, so.
Have you talked to your neighbors at all?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
okay.
They've actually helped a lot with advice and suggestions. It's a
Mhm.
small street, so we're all very friendly.
Yeah, it's beautiful back there, so. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll move.
Al moves.
Second?
Ernie moves, or seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing closed, and unless anyone has any follow-up or further questions, I have a motion for this application. Being none, I will go ahead and read it. Thank you very much, by the way.
Thank you.
So for application 32 SB 2023, Struble in-ground pool at 8053 Barony Woods, whereas the planning board made the following findings of fact. There are 7 of them. Now therefore be it resolved that the application of Kyle and Megan Struble, site plan entitled Struble in-ground pool located in limited development district, received by the planning board August 17th, 2023. Planning board application 32 SB 2023 be approved with the following conditions. Conditions to be addressed prior to chairman's signature on the plan. Item 1 is standard. Item 2, that comments from Labella Associates dated September 12th, 2023 be addressed. Ongoing conditions, item 1 is standard, so is item 2. And be it further resolved that the planning board secretary distribute the planning board's approval letter. Do I hear a motion for approval?
Move.
Ernie moves.
I'll second.
And Scott seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried 5-0. You're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, Lisa, we need to look at, or no announcements we need? Okay,
Kind of an easy agenda.
that's not even 7:30. I'll hear a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
Oh,
I heard Scott, or
You second?
No, that was
that was
Ernie.
Ernie. Sorry, Ernie. You're so quiet over there.
Should lean forward.
Good night, everyone.